Well, hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me in my shop. Today is September 9th. Still cold, still rainy outside, but maybe some sunshine's coming later today. So I've reached the conclusion that the cartridge has to go in here. And one alternative is to install this brand new, recently manufactured cartridge. I've installed a couple of these into other record players that work very, very well. And so I would expect the same here. I've discovered the tone arm here is of high enough quality. You can set the tracking force very precisely, which is a great thing. And the only problem is, of course, this doesn't in any way fit in here. I'm going to have to fit it in somehow. And exactly how I'm going to manage that, I don't know. I don't know. That's how we're starting. I don't know what I'm going to do. Got to come up with something. Well, I guess step one is removing the old cartridge, which I've already taken the little flip lever off. I'm just loosening this. I really want to take these wires off before I do any more. This cartridge, when I went to put it in, I was happy to discover that it had color coded the back of it, so I could figure out which wire goes where. This one, not the case. Where's the protector? I'm going to keep the protector on here. Not like that. How about like this? What it does say, it says right and left, and then it shows minus and plus. So plus, plus, minus, minus. You could think of minus as the ground. You notice these two are close together. They're probably the ground ones, because if they contact, it doesn't make much difference. These are probably the signal ones out here. And no such hints here. But this is a standard, like a universally standard system of coloring these wires. So I think if I just look up a chart on the internet, I will find out left, right, ground, and live. The other way is I can just look under here. You know, it's easier and better to look under here, really, come to think of it. Okay, do what you want. So here I can see the shield wire that's in the cable here is joined together from both left and right channel and soldered to one point. And then we have the two signal wires. It's a reddish and a yellowish color. Reddish and a yellowish. Yellowish might be white. Here they are here. Well, it certainly is yellow. I've already forgot what I was. Yeah, so yellow, quite clearly the yellow one. Good. Okay, now are those going to fit onto these pins, or are they going to be the wrong size? Because they look a little big. Let's just stick one on any one. Yeah, they're a little big. So a couple ways to deal with that. I probably have some proper fitting connections here. Can't think of the right word for it. Sliders. I can fit them on here, and then I could solder them onto these. Or another way is to crush these a little bit and fit them on tightly here, which is probably a better solution. But crushing these with precision is not easy to do. Not a lot of excess wire here either. There's none running down here, and I bet you they've glued it in or something. Anyway, So this might force the position of the cartridge. So if we assume the cartridge can fit like this, that's not bad. Now another thing I'm going to have to deal with here is, look at what this looks like. It looks like something's missing. It's screaming out something's missing. It would be kind of neat if I could somehow get this to sit in here afterwards. And what about the metal bracket that's in here? There's a big screw here. I don't see any other screws. Let's take a look at that with the other camera. Just see what the metal fitting in there, the metal housing, I guess is the right word for it. Boy, I'm having a hard time with my mouse this morning. Holy smokes. There we go. Let's just wait for the focus to catch up to things. Oh, you darn camera, you. Well, you can see the screw there, and then there's a metal bracket. Oh, yeah, I gotta fix the camera here so we can get a better look at that, because it looks like it's two pieces of metal in there. There goes the focus. Nice camera, but on close-up work, the autofocus is often, basically, it gets confused about what it wants to focus on. It starts oscillating back and forth. Okay, that's me doing it manually. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's a chunk of foam. You have a metal bracket screwed in the front here. Some black material, like a glue, has run up underneath it. You can see the black material to the right of the foam. Or is that what the foam is turning into? The foam is turning into that black goop. And at the back here we have another metal. Is that metal? That's all foam. This is all foam here. It's just this front part that's metal. I was fooled. It's at a bit of a distance. It looked like one continuous metal piece. Well, how can this help the situation? What if I can glue the cartridge to this front screwed on piece? Is that possible? Can I do that? Let's take a look here. Because I could unscrew the front piece, the front metal bracket, glue the new cartridge to it, and then screw it in, and then it's a removable cartridge. And I think the answer is going to be no. There's no way to glue this reliably in. Come on up. There we go. Last thing I want to do is wreck the meat. I could pull the needle out, but I think I'm going to just leave it in. So there's no flat, well, there's a little bit of a flat surface here, but not much. And there's nothing really to glue it to. The needle has to be hanging below this surface to hit the record. So I don't see how this metal bracket can be of help. The now that there's this foam material up here, very stiff and rigid. I don't know if it's gone that way. This part here is really stiff. So one solution is to glue blocks to the top here and sufficiently large to glue onto the back of this, and then you just glue it in place. I don't like the glue word too much. Another way is to shim it on the sides. Some exactly properly sized shims, large shims, like wide shims, shoved in here, glued in place also, lightly glued. That strikes me as probably a better solution. You're going to get a much firmer going to be held much firmer. I mean, you hold it right on the end here with some glue. That's not going to work out. That's not going to work out. So sides, or do a block. If it wasn't for this foam, I'd be attracted to the block. And it feels like the foam is completely flattened up here. Might as well be the plastic shell. Is it really foam? What is it? Wow. Okay, it's as if there's nothing there, really. You could glue to that, I'm sure. It's a curved surface, though. If you use the right glue, that won't matter. It has this little back piece here. I could kind of glue a block up against here and get it in there really good. Glue in the block, and when that's settled up, glue in the cartridge. If we do the side thing, I have to come up with two pieces that are going to fit perfectly. That's not particularly easy. The block thing is much easier. Okay, so I'm going to need to find a block of material. It can't be too heavy. It needs to be light. Like a nice block of wood. Here's a block. This is probably a little too big. Yeah, I don't think this block's going to work, but a block of wood. A block of appropriately sized and shaped. I can shape wood here, or a chunk of plastic or anything. I think that's the way I'm going to go. At least for now. Okay, we'll pursue that route. Find a block of material and glue it in there. Okay, material. While I was on my hunt for things, that's pretty useless. This block, actually, although I'm not going to use it, I think it was made to order to go in there. But we're not going to use this. While I was doing that, a better idea came, one that I've had a few times in the past, and that's to use Lego pieces. Lego pieces are light, stiff, perfect. But I think this one's a little too big. Now, I've managed to collect a lot of Lego. Why is that? I'm anticipating when my wife and I get to the drool stage that maybe the Lego will be good for us. But we're not at the drool stage yet, so that piece was too big. What if we take a couple of these? And we were to put that in there like that. Way too low. Now, how can that be way too low? This was double. Maybe I didn't have this all the way down. That's what we end up with. Looks pretty weird. I had to search a long time to find this Lego. That's because it's so disorganized and stored away. And it's nice how that fits in there, but way too... This won't work out. What about the really thin Lego pieces? I can build up a bunch of them and get the right width. Let me get a bunch of those somewhere. Where are they? Jeepers, I don't know. Okay, so I have some thin, whoops, here they are. Thin pieces I can use as shims. Shim this up to the right size. I put two in. Let's see where we are. That's way too much. Only one. What do you get with one? Excuse me. That looks just as bad. What happened here? What happened? did I think there was a problem with this? That's not bad. That looks pretty good. Height-wise. Okay, now I can probably glue this pretty good to here. I can probably glue this pretty good in there. I have to decide what glue to use. I think that would work. Not very heavy. This is heavier than this. Yeah, okay, but before doing that, I'm going to stop, give it a little bit of time to basically let the synapses talk to each other for a while and see if maybe there's a bad reason for doing this, or a good reason for not doing this, rather than do the usual hunt through the internet for information. I just asked Bing once again, and I asked him, this is what I wrote. I'm installing a ceramic cartridge into a record player to replace the original cartridge. There are 4 colored wires that connect to the cartridge. What is the color code for these wires? And there's its response right there. That's clear. Fantastic. This really saves a lot of time. And yes, there's a chance these answers will come back wrong, but for very hard questions like this, I don't think it's too likely. And the AI has trouble doing odd things that you might not imagine would be difficult, like counting the number of F's in the word different. It has trouble with that kind of question. But who cares about that? Interesting. Okay, so there's the information I need to hook up the cartridge, and I think I'm going to go back to the camera here. Okay, got a few decisions here. Order of things. Should I hook the wires up to the cartridge and then glue the cartridge in? Should I glue this to the cartridge, or should I glue it in here first and then put the wires on, then glue the cartridge to here? There's a whole order here that needs to be figured out ahead of time, because this is exactly the kind of thing that gets you into a jackpot. A jackpot being a situation which is guaranteed to lead to trouble. I don't want that to happen. Type of glue also is an issue. In most cases, whatever glue I use, this thing could be picked out of here. Somebody could get in with a screwdriver, yank it out, and get it out of there 20 or 30 years from now to put another cartridge in, if you can imagine that. Of course, people could never imagine that this record player would be around today, back in its day. So we don't know what the future of these things are. This stuff could go on for another 100 years. A little longer than me. I don't know. So when you're doing stuff like this, you want, especially with glue, you want to think about, well, how can this be undone afterwards? So that's kind of how the solution looks. I think I would put the wires on. Of course, you know what? If you're going to have this glued in there, and then you're going to put this and glue it on, you got to hold this in place for long enough for the glue to set. Now, if I'm using epoxy, a little bit of epoxy should do the trick. That's 5 or 10 minutes. I suppose an elastic band around here, but that's a little awkward with that needle sitting there, and that's a scary thing. I'm going to cover that needle again, because I can just see how I'm going to wreck this. So, forward and backwards, and then there's an issue of where it is forwards and backwards. Not very serious for this record player. And then somehow I'd like to get this on here, just for the look of it. Where's the cartridge? Can I salvage some of this? Oh my gosh, I got the whole thing off. How do you like that? You could clamp this back on. Now that, oops, pieces are falling out here. A little spring. So if I glued this on it'd be sticking out the front again, and then I could glue this on. And yes, if somebody went to turn it, sad things would happen, but yeah, because it's supposed to be turning a post that's coming through here, you know, the post. Whoop, there goes another washer. But it's not. It would have it glued on here, so it would just be fixed. It would just be sitting there fixed in place like this, and it hardly takes up any space behind it, which is great. They could actually do this. Okay, that's good. That'll make it look virtually normal, and even though it isn't normal. Okay, once again, gotta stop and just let some time go by. Okay, next problem to deal with is the loose fitting connectors on the back of the cartridge. Never tried this, but I like these tubes look like they are split and you know, flat piece coiled around. It means I could drive something into these tubes and expand them out a little bit. To look at that a little closer, but that's one possibility, to make these bigger. The other possibility is to make these smaller. The last possibility is to solder these to here, but that's bad. That's a bad move. The heat will travel up into the cartridge, and who knows what'll happen. These things might, like this plastic, might not take the heat at all, and these things all become loose. And, there's no way you can solder onto these wires, which is why it's done this way. The problem with shrinking these is, again, they are a flattened piece of metal that's been coiled up. It has a split in it, and the split is what gives them the springiness. And that's what makes this whole thing, you know, when you put something in big enough, you open the spring and it grabs. If I crush these carefully to get them close to the size of this, I'm liable to lose that spring function if I do it wrong. Plus, probably if you're going to take a flat piece of metal that's been curved and crush it, you probably want to crush it this way, like this way, instead of this way. I would think if you crush it this way, you still have the springiness. And then crushing it under control and ensuring you don't over crush it, which is really tricky. What I would normally do is I would slide the connector way up into a pair of pliers way up here, and put my hands on the end and control what I'm doing with it. But even that's questionable as to like if you're trying to crush spring metal. These are probably, well, I don't know what they're made of, but they could be made of steel to give them some spring. Because other materials don't have the springiness. Steel is very springy. So, and that would make soldering to this very difficult too. Someone else did it. I'm not going to worry about that. In fact, you know, I just noticed they've carefully soldered the wire. So again, you get the flat piece of metal that's been curved into this shape, and they've soldered it not near the spring part, but right on the back here, very carefully. Every one of them has been soldered very carefully to the back of it. Very good. This is a very good job done here. I'm going to wreck it. So now what if I crush these too much? You know, there is a way to shove something inside them, like a pin or a needle or something, kind of open them up again. But how many times can you do that? Widening these out. So the problem with doing that, there is a problem with doing that, is they aren't in free space. The end in here is in the plastic, so it's not going to expand. So if I drive a pointed dowel or something up into here, a needle or something, and expand it out, I'm only going to expand out the outer edges here, the outer part. So right now, the way it's made, there's a good chance when you slide the connector on, you get multiple contact points along here, right? It's shaped perfectly, so you get multiple contact points. Now if I expand this out, shove this in. I'm not showing this very well, am I? It's this way, it's this way. Expand this out, and then this goes over. It's a chance only the front edge is going to be causing the contact. I mean, is this a problem? Maybe not. You don't need much of a contact to conduct electricity. If you're conducting, heavy amperage, yeah, you need a whopper of a connection, but there's no amperage in this thing. So any little connection is going to do it, as long as it's reliable connection. So you might say, oh, Jim, you're overthinking this, but you know what? I've been down this road so many times that if you don't do the thinking ahead of time, you have to do it afterwards, after you've made the terrible mistake. Then you do the thinking. That's a little too late. So I'm forcing myself to think this through. As people, we have a tendency to grab the first idea and run with it, because really, for human beings, time is the issue. So we want to get on to things and get them done. But goodness knows, racing forward to try to save time often ends up costing a lot more time. Plus, I could do something permanently bad here. I don't want that to happen. Let me slip one of these on again and consider just how tight it is. Get some more information into the game here. So it goes on very loosely, but not all the way. At the last bit, it's gripping. They don't have to do anything. And what I was talking about, the inability to expand this uniformly across its length because the end of it is embedded in plastic. It's kind of a similar situation here on the other end. If I'm crushing this, you really have to crush. You really only have to crush the back area. Go in and make contact in the back area of this. You don't have to crush the whole thing, and already it seems like there's already some kind of grip there. Let me check them all. Do they all have grip? If they all have grip, there's nothing here to worry about. Oop, that one didn't grip very much. I didn't really push it on. Okay, push it on. It's gripping. It's gripping good. So I think I could just push these on. There's no problem here. I have overthought it. Not really. No. See, all that thinking led to this realization. Yeah, they all grip. They all grip. But if I ruin the grip by putting them on, I don't think so. Because again, it's springy metal. Stress and strain. What is the difference between stress and strain? Let me show you with an old piece of anything here. Stress and strain. Here we are. Piece of steel. Perfect. Steel wire. So if you fix one end of this, you can bend this a bit, let go, and it'll return to exactly its same place. What you're doing is these are official metallurgical terms. You're applying stress to the metal. But what if you go too far, and when you let go, it doesn't go back? Now you've strained the metal here. It's changed its molecular crystalline configuration has been changed in here a little bit, and you've permanently deformed the metal. Stress and strain. So springs are designed to stay within the stress limit of the metal. You probably never realized this, but when you pull on a string, what you're actually doing is you're taking the metal the string is made of and you're twisting it. It's actually a torsional effect when you pull it out. Okay, so what's that got to do with any of this? Nothing. I'm babbling. I think I've solved every problem here. I think I have it in hand, which is really a bad place. As soon as you think you got everything figured out, that's probably the time to go and drink some coffee, because there's usually more of the story. I hope if you're watching this video, I'm not driving you nuts with the very slow approach to this, but you really, using glue, you get one chance, basically. Well, there's always another chance, isn't there? So let's practice without any glue. So the first thing I think I would do is I would glue this in. So I glued this in, put some glue on it, get it up here. Gee, I wonder if I should take the tone arm. Listen, here's an idea. If I remove the tone arm from here. Now, that can be a little tricky to do. So I'm looking at the way the tone arm is held in. There's usually a pin. And you can see the pin here. But it really looks like it's... Looks like what they did was they put in this pin that this is rotating on, a rod. A rod is a better term for it. And the rod goes through, it's held here in the plastic and held back here in the plastic. They pushed it in through a hole here, and then they melted this down onto it to freeze it in place with the plastic. And so that's what's holding that in. I'm not going to take that out. So no, we're not going to get the tone arm off. And how about taking it off of this? No, are you crazy? No, I would never try that. So we're going to have to work on it like this. Now another alternative is to turn this whole thing around, flip it all around, and get this located in a much better position. And I think I'm going to do that. I think just doing this is enough to wake me up to the problems of trying to work up. Working down is much better. So I'm going to rearrange my my setup here in such a way that the tone arm is flat and upside down on the bench here. Somehow I'm going to do that. Well, this is a pretty precarious arrangement here, I have to admit. The whole thing could tip over pretty quickly. I've got the back of it supported with some beams to keep the bottom and the top and all that. Try to hold it up good. Meanwhile, if I am not thinking hard enough and I push hard on this, I'll make the whole thing go. So that's what this is for. Here we are. Okay, that's where I got to work. Okay, practice. So first of all, this goes in, bump down. There we are. That gets glued in. A few minutes later, I come along. I'm going to leave the protector on for now. Now, yeah, I think it's probably much better to put the wires on ahead of time and then glue this down to it. Now I got to take this off and just double check here. A good jackpot would be to do all this and then realize, oh, the needle isn't sticking out enough. Wow, okay, it's close. It's pretty darn close. How come it's rocky? Careful, man, careful. The needle's exposed here, so the plastic piece is sliding around. So let's say I set it to the back here, and there's a little shape here for it to catch on. If I did that, we'd have this arrangement. You know, the needle has gone too low. Gone too low. This isn't working. How come? How come I got fooled? How did I get fooled here? This isn't enough. But if I expand this with one piece, now interesting thing here, you know, I could glue the red piece to the cartridge and then it would snap in like that, and then you could snap it out. Who would want to do that? Oh, I want to keep this on here for dimension check. Okay. I think it's very important to practice these things ahead of time, as carefully as possible. Now that's nice. I like that. That's very nice. Can be now. Wait a minute. If I'm gonna do this thing, then this needle has to be back a bit. Let's see if we can get this in here. So that's going to sit in there. More or less like that. That puts the needle there. It's probably in a very similar location to where the original one was. Where's the original one? Okay, now where was this one exactly? So it would have been sitting with this piece sticking out here a little bit, just about like that. The needle's in the same place. So that's good. That all works. Everything's working. Maybe I should have this in while I'm doing it, or I'm going to make a mistake if I don't have this sitting in here. So I'm going to put it in. What's holding me out? There we are. Put this in, and I want to tighten the nut down just a little bit, so this doesn't move around or fall out. There. Doesn't look right. What happened there? Something funny happened. Why is that back plate sticking out that way? It's not quite angled right. Not quite angled right. Just realized I'm grabbing the tone arm. I'm not thinking about the rest of the record player. Boy, I'm moving it around like this. If I'm in the middle of this and the record player falls over, I got a real handful. Now, what about this idea of gluing? It would be, you know what? It would be better to put it together like this. Don't glue this to here. Just put it in like this, and then glue this on top. And then someday in the future, if somebody wants to try to separate it or pull it out, they can pull it out. It would be foolish for me to try to glue this onto here, the red part, and then snap it in. Way too many alignment issues that would not be solved, I'm sure. This is still not quite straight here. So that goes in. The other thing too is when you mix up your epoxy, you've only got a couple of minutes to do the thing. So that raises an interesting question. Do I epoxy the whole shebang at once? So I put this in with epoxy, a little epoxy, put this right on top of it, line it all up. I got to fix it in place too. I've got to fix this so it's straight and true, and not off to the side, and not doing something funny. I haven't put the wires on it yet either. Don't forget that. But if I do forget that, it's not the end of the world. You can always put the wires on afterwards. But it's a lot easier ahead of time, I think. Could be gluing all these things at the same time, or these two things at the same time is too much to do it all at once. You need probably an elastic band around here, and this under the elastic band. Probably what I really should do is pull this needle out of here, because I am going to ruin it. I'm sure I'm on my way to ruining it. So where's a little screwdriver here? I think I can wedge this out. Maybe not. So just slide right out. This is where I ruin the needle. Some of these will slide forward and others slide up this way. Based on the shape here, this looks like a forward sliding one. Something happened. Yeah. Very good. Okay, the needle is out. I don't have to sweat over that anymore. Ooh, what about putting the needle back in once this is mounted? See, oh, there's a good jackpot right there. So you'd have this down like this. And then you got to slide this needle on. I got to slide this needle on. That's not good. That's not a good thing. So needle goes on before gluing. I'll just keep it off now, so there's less chance of me damaging it while I'm still assessing the situation. Or putting these wires on. So I put the wires on. This is hanging off to the side. Mix up my epoxy. Epoxy this in place. Then I could put this over. It moves the little plastic piece around. At least I'm moving it around by accident. I think it's a one at a time deal. I'll mix a little epoxy up and glue this piece in. Epoxy takes, it's 5-minute epoxy, but it really takes 24 hours. It says right on it, 5-minute epoxy achieves maximum strength after 24 hours. Oh, how come they call it 5-minute epoxy? Here it is. 5-minute epoxy. Super strong. Sets in 5 minutes. Dollarama. And I'm not going to read all these instructions. But somewhere it says achieves full strength after 24 hours. Hold pieces tightly for at least 5 minutes with a clamp or something else. Wait 30 minutes before manipulating item. So it's 5-minute glue, but you gotta wait 30 minutes for the 5-minute glue to. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get into glue mode here. Oh no, I need the. Yeah, we'll glue this in with no elastic band or anything. Good. Okay. I think I know what I'm doing here. Okay, I think I'm ready for step 1, gluing. How about a stir stick? That'd be a good thing too. So I like to use old business cards to mix the glue on. The glue, look at this one. Tracy McGuire, development clerk. Cranbrook, British Columbia. Yeah, I did work for the city of Cranbrook under a contract for the company I was working with. Cranbrook is a small city in amongst the valleys of the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia. Okay, we're gonna. Sorry, Tracy, but you're probably not the development clerk anymore. Anyway, I'm going to use your card here. Don't you know it? It's glued on. Okay, are they clear? The one on the right is clear, the one on the left is not. This is going to come shooting out, I think. Come on, the left side's not doing anything. Oh boy. Don't fail me now. It's tricky to not contaminate, the oh, there she goes. Okay, try to get a fairly even mix here. Ooh, that's too much. Oh, careful. Losing control. Settle down. Put the top on here. This is where the contamination occurs. Okay, put that over there. Mix this guy up. Yes, I'm making you watch me mix up glue here. You can't mix this stuff too much. And to a large degree, the more you mix it, you're spending time. But the better, the quicker the setup and everything. There's a lot of glue here. Okay, are we all set in there? Got way more glue than I need. Just need a little bit. This is what I often think. I think I should have a piece of paper with a list of things around my house that need gluing. And then when I do something like this and make some glue, I can run around and glue those things. But somehow I never make the list. But every time I do gluing, I think, hey, I should do that list. Okay, this is probably going to set up pretty quick. Doesn't even feel like it's making contact down there. Boo! We need more glue. We need lots of it. Yeah, it's good. It's already polymerizing. That feels better. I need to stand here and hold it like this. I didn't think about this part. Let's think about this part. I didn't get a elastic band. Do I have one handy? Elastic band, quickly. My panic drawer here. I got one, but it's a great big one. Okay, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to drop that on top. Cut one out. And stick something big in here. Something big and light. Something big and light. Get in there. This is not the best thing. See, I didn't think this through. Jackpot it. Jackpot it here. Nothing bad's happening though. I'm just looking stupid. That's what's happening here. Looking stupid. Get my finger out. Well, I don't know if this really worked. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit. Now, what I can do with this glue, get it all over my fingers, so I can come in periodically and check. This glue is doing the same thing the glue in there is doing. So when this gets hard, that's hard. Okay, there we go. I think I'm gonna take a little break now. 5 minutes, 30 minutes. If I can make my mouse work here, oh my gosh. I gotta do something about this crazy mouse. Okay, while this is setting up, let's just double check the wiring here. So it was yellow and red that were carrying the signal. Yellow and red carrying the signal. And you look at that chart again here. Yellow and red, so it'll be red and white. So I think when they say positive, what, oh wait, it says right there, channel ground. Yeah, so this record player has been done following the standard. Good. Oh my God. Now the mouse is just, oh my God. Does God know about computers? Okay, let's check and see where we are with the glue. So it's still tacky, but it's pretty solid. So I imagine this is pretty good now. Next step is put the wires on the back of the cartridge. So we have plus, plus, negative, negative, right, left. Let me get the chart on my computer screen here. So, here we go. This way. Righto. And pliers. Okay, first one we're going to go through is right positive. Right positive is the red one. Right positive is the red one. Get on there. Okay. Don't tug these wires too much, Jim. Next one would be the left positive is the white or the yellow one in this case. Yellow one. Boy, I tell you, my stomach is just crazy. Hey, how come you're not going on? Whoops, whoops. Yeah, that's right. I see the red one's coming off. That went on nice. Oh, that's nice. Just popped right on there. Now the last two, we will do the blue one is left channel. Blue one is left channel. Blue one is left. Okay, and that's on there. There's only one left, and you can only go in one place. Oh, these wires are kind of tangled up here. Around you come. I got them on. Got them on. Okay, so now we're really close to gluing this guy in place. You have to put the needle on. And then glue it in place. I think I can probably take, what's it been? It's been half an hour. Take this off now. Don't knock down the record player. Don't knock down the record player. Okay, we're putting this here. Like so. And then we're going to glue it. In this case, though, I got to be really sure that it's nice and straight. So I might end up standing here holding this for a while, because how else can I be sure of its position? I'd have to shim it in here, and I don't want to do that. That'd take a long time. Just take less time just standing here holding it. And again, if I don't put the needle on now, look at how this actually goes on. Wow, there's not. So there's a little tiny grip at the front here, but it's very tiny. So I think you could almost drop it in. Drop it in, and then pop it on here, like that. Push it in tight, we're done. Okay, get it out of there. I think I could do it with it in place. Let's try. I could. So on the basis that it's better to do this without the needle there, because I can put my finger right on it and don't have to worry about the needle. Time to mix up some more glue. More glue. Okay, I need a new stick. How about the other end of this stick here? This time I'm going to cut it a little bit neater. Okay, Tracy MacGyver. card has proven handy. Okay, we don't need very much. Pull back. Yuck, look at this stuff hanging off here. I'm gonna end up in trouble quickly. I need some paper towel in a hurry. Yuck. There we go. Okay, mix up the stuff. Cranbrook, like any city that's built in the mountains, is in a valley. So the city is along a river, if I remember right, at the bottom of the valley, and the city is stretched out. As you can imagine, valley cities are stretched out. And it's a little bit isolated, like you got to travel quite a distance to get to another substantial community, if I remember right. I think in its earlier days it was a coal mining town, but I'm not sure of that. Okay, I got an awful lot of glue here. Where's that glue list? Now I want to transfer the glue up to here. Make sure you glue it the right way up. Okay, we're going to put the glue. Can anybody call this glue? There's an epoxy is not really glue. I don't know. I'm going to put it all on here. This is going to be a one-way trip. And I'm going to put some on the higher parts here. I said something about using a small amount so you could pick this off later. Well, I'm not sure that's going to happen. This might be pretty permanent. Okay. Now I got glue on my fingers. How am I going to push on that with glue on my fingers without getting glue on the thing there? Now I can't turn off the video. I'm stuck here for a few minutes. Well, hopefully I'll remember to edit out a couple minutes of standing perfectly still here. You know what, that elastic band would work. Look, see, the wires are strong enough to pull it off. The glue's got no holding power at the start. Get back on there. Oh boy. Doesn't this look bad? So I didn't practice this, did I? Apparently not. Okay. Now I'm under time pressure. Let's not put this so tight. Let's put this just with two loops. Got some glue on the side there. Oh, that's no good. Didn't practice this enough. Okay, needs something. The last time I used this knob, came back in, the knob had popped out because it's round. So that's a stupid thing to use. Use this. Can I use that? Okay, don't knock the record player down. This would really be bad time for that to happen. So don't. That's still not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. It's a good thing I took the needle out. Now I'm rushing. Rushing is bad. Okay, got it in place. She's nice and straight. this works out. Okay, we're going to leave that now for quite a while. Come on, mouse, do your thing. It's been about 15 minutes. I think I can consider gluing this guy on now. I'm going to use this Gorilla Glue. Again, I'm not promoting this in any way. This is, to me, this is just white glue. There's nothing special about it. Just because I got a picture of a gorilla. Look, it looks like an angry gorilla. Doesn't mean it's any particularly good. We want this to be 78 looking down. The reason I'm using this glue is because it's not as strong as epoxy, and so this thing can be popped off a little easier. Should somebody want to do that someday down the road. And you know, if the glue doesn't hold and it falls off, well, this can just be glued on again. It's not a big deal at all. Stick this in like this. Here we are. Just nobody turn that. Somebody goes to turn it. Well, I think what would happen is the knob would pop off. The knob, either you wouldn't be able to turn it because it's glued on there, or the knob will pop off. And no big deal. How are we doing here with the sticky stuff? Ooh, it's pretty good. Very tacky. Okay, I think I'm going to let this sit. It'll be after lunch. Oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime. Well, sometime after lunch. Now put the needle in. We'll actually try this guy out. Make sure it works, because I don't know. Does this work? That's the problem with this kind of thing. You cannot really test it till it's all done. And then you might find out, oh, I don't want that to happen. Okay, come on, mouse, do your thing. Oh my God, I've got to deal with this. And I know what the problem is. Can you identify that sound? That's laundry being done next door. So that won't matter. I'm ready to try playing this guy. So cartridge is in firm. Good. I'm going to get this set up and we'll give it a go. Okay, first thing, set the tracking force. So I'm going to aim for 4 grams to start. It's at 2.1. 2.1. That's almost 4 there. Whoop, did I go the wrong way? Full. That seems odd to me. 4.68. .27. Yikes. 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 4. That's the way you do it. You just keep doing it till you get the number you want. Then you go there. That's it. Okay. I think we're ready. I still haven't put the clip back on here. We'll do that till the very end. Where's the record? Another thing we can do is check the record speed. Record player speed. But I want to hear what this sounds like, so try side 2 just for a change. That's quite a bad scratch on this right in there. Oh well. I'll turn down the microphone so we won't have to listen to the rumble of the record of the laundry being done. Okay, I guess I need to plug this in. Okay. I'll set the volume roughly. Ooh, really humming. Not making contact. Huh, these screws must be isolated away. Surprise. Okay, let's find something else to clip onto here. Okay, that's better. So I have the volume set roughly where it was with the other cartridge. We'll start there. I'm just gonna knock down most of the microphone. Here we go. Okay, distortion gone. I'd say that's about the case, but I'm not too impressed with the amount of bass response coming out of this. So I tried the weight thing of adding quite a bit of weight to it, a ridiculous amount at the end there. I couldn't really hear any change in the quality of the sound having added more weight to it. So let's just try another song here.
Said he's found someone he'd like to share with me. I never forget. I never forget. I never forget our face.
Okay, just let it shut itself off. Very good, very good. Okay, yeah, sound not quite as bassy as what I would anticipate it sounding like, but we'll have to hear what it sounds like through the big stereo. So to find out, and that's probably what's going to come next in here. I have to go and basically, before taking the receiver out of the cabinet, I want to double check its quality of operation. If it seems to be operating at 100%, I'm not so sure I want to bring it in here. I'll have to think about it. But that's it for this record player. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see what's next.